Okay, today we're going to replace the outlet in that receptacle, and we're going to play that one's a GFI. We're going to replace it with just a regular one and see what happens with that. Anyway, so we'll be replacing it with something like this, obviously. And if we take a look on the side there, you can see those two screws are where you would attach black side wires, and these two with the silver screws would be where you attach the white side wires, and this green bolt is for the ground. So those are your three wires basically. The ground is the bare, the silver goes to white. You see these screws that are the gold, that's the black side. So on your more modern pieces, you have little tiny holes in the back where you can actually just strip the wire, a short piece of the wire, and just push it into the small holes, and then there'd be another set on this side, and you just push them in. On these older types, you have to make a loop with the wire and screw them on, and for sake of argument, you should try to remember to make the loop go in a clockwise fashion, so that when you're tightening the nut, it causes the loop to kind of continue in the same way, instead of if you make a loop in a counterclockwise fashion, when you tighten the screw, it kind of spreads the loop open and you don't get as good of a contact. So the power's off. The power's off on this thing because there's a switch up in the house that turns it off. If we wanted to know for sure, of course, there's a number of different ways to test that. One cool little object is these little guys here. These are very good for actually telling you which way or whether the thing's actually wired properly. It has different selections for open ground, open neutral, open hot, reversed hot and ground, reversed hot and neutral, and then if it's wired correctly, the two little yellow lights will shine up. So we can see that this thing's dead because it's not doing anything, and of course we know that because we turned the switch off, but it's always good to verify so you don't get any added excitement in your morning. So the one that's in here is what's called a GCFI, Golf Charlie Fox India. That's short for Ground Fault Circuit Interrupter. They're used in wet environments. You see them in bathrooms, and they have this little test button right in the center and a reset button. It's kind of a safety item, and you use them in places where you might accidentally drop your hairdryer into the sink and cause a big problem with the water. So, you know, you would think they would be great out here outside, but what's weird is we've had more trouble with these outside than just regular plain old outlets. So for fun, I'm just going to do a plain old outlet out here, and we're going to see how that works out. So you can't see it, but the ground wire is screwed into the box, which is not sure what that's made out of, some kind of metal. If we look on the back side of this thing, you might be able to see how those wires actually just poke right into the back, into those kind of things that I was telling you about. So the way you get them out is there's a hole right next to it that you push with a pin or something to release the wire. And if you don't have a pin handy and you're pressed for time, which we obviously are because YouTube runs 10. Let's try this. Okay, this ought to work. So you poke a wire into the other little hole, and you should be able to pull that out. I don't know if I really need a double hook on this, so we'll just make this a little different. Let's try this. You push this down in there, and that should let it release. I don't really have time to play around with this all day, so I'm just going to take it out. Okay, that's that item. That's how they go in the back there. These real nice ones even tell you which side to have the load and the tension, which side is the line. That's pretty cool. Too bad it didn't last very long. So you got ants. That's probably part of the problem. So we've got an unstripped wire here. Here's the black wire and the white wire. As I said, the bare wire is grounded to something in the box, or grounded to the box, which maybe that was the problem. Maybe I need to ground it to the outlet itself. So let's do that this time and ground it to the outlet itself. I'm stripping back probably close to an inch. Probably going to do more in a second. This is kind of added excitement here working with the ants. So I'm loosening the green bolt that's inside, that's kind of the same as the one that I showed you on the outlet inside the receptacle. Ideally what you would do is you'd pigtail another copper wire onto this so that you could ground it to the box and the outlet both. We'll take our chances here first with just doing the outlet. And since I put it in so well the first time, I think I'm just going to leave it in, and I'm going to no, I'm not. Yeah, I am. We're getting plenty of ants now. So this is apparently stripped, so now I'm going to take it off for sure. That's why it's not coming apart, because it's stripped. So much for the fancy box. Yeah, when I opened this thing the first time, man, it was full of ants. Hard to tell exactly what caused that other outlet to go bad, but who knows. Okay, so take our new box outlet. Black always goes to gold. I wish I knew what I did with my little needle nose pliers. There we go. Okay, black to gold. Put a little bit of a loop on the wire. Strip it just a little bit more. A little bit of a loop. Let me see if I can make it so you can see that. See how that's looped? Now you want it to be swinging around so it's turning, so it's going in a clockwise direction. Ouch. Okay, and now it's going to go like this. And you tighten that little screw down. I actually have it going backwards because I am not paying attention to what I'm doing. But I did get a good connection there. So now we'll do this one. Make a little loop. Not quite a whole loop, more like just a little J-hook. Yeah, I recommend if you're doing this with too many ants, get yourself a raid can, which I'm going to have to do here in about 3 seconds, I think. Again, try to get it to where it's going in a clockwise direction compared to how you're tightening the screw. There we go. Some of these outlets that you get, all the screws will be extended all the way in the out position. You want to turn them all in when you're done, so you don't want anything additionally poking out to make connection with stuff that it's not supposed to be touching accidentally. A little loop for the ground wire. Ground wires tend to be a little bit tougher to get on because the head for the thing is so big. Or the head for the screw is so big. Best tool for the ground screw would be a nut driver or something that, you know, actually fits the head, the hex size, which on this one looks like it's probably 3/8. Okay, so now we're just going to stuff it back in. If you remember, I'll be the first one to admit I'm not the best stuffer. Kind of like it like that. Kind of like that one down. Kind of like that one over. Kind of like this one. Okay. So I'm just doing this in a kind of weird way to keep from getting ants all over my hand. I'm just lining up the screw. When you're tightening it in, of course, you want it to be fairly perpendicular or parallel to the stuff that you're working on. You know, you don't want it to be all cockeyed like it is right now. You have to kind of look in there and see what the problem is why it doesn't want to lay flat, and try to deal with that before you start tightening it down. These ants are going crazy. Kinda, not really. Crazy enough for me though. So put it in evenly, you know, you don't tighten one all the way down while the other one's barely in at all. Take them in evenly. That's what I mean by how I'm doing it. And I'm coming along, it's pretty flat, you know, left to right, it's not sticking out on one side worse than the other. I mean, it's flat this way and this way, not all cockeyed. You want it to be centered as much as possible on the slot so that the faceplate will fit. I mean the cover plate. I'm hoping that when I turn this on I can shock all these ants, but you know that won't really happen. Okay, let's see if the cover. Okay, I got the wrong cover plate because there's a different. You know, this one was square, and this is the old style with the two circles. So we'll deal with the cover plate later, but basically, when that switch is turned on, that should be hot. I don't know how much time I've got going. Let me see how much time I have. Anyway, that's pretty much the done deal on how to do that. And I think that's it.